Hello and welcome to another episode of our podcast where today we celebrate the 20th anniversary of one of the most wizarding wicked movies of all time, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, whichever country you live in. I am your friendly neighborhood detective Artemis.
And as always, it's me, the infragable K.
And this is Drink to a Decade. Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Dude, so 20 years since the release of Harry Potter into a movie, released for all mainstream people to see. Harry Potter became a household name pretty much after this point.
Yeah.
What do you remember when that movie first came out?
So that was 2001. I think I was like 12 when the first movie came out. It was like the same age as the fucking actors, right?
Yeah,
And,
that could have been you, man.
No, I'm not British because, I don't like tea or whatever it is. I don't know.
Tea and strumpets?
Tea and cookies? Cookies? Yeah, I like cookies because that's what we call them here in America.
Not biscuits.
Not biscuits. Not biscuits or strumpets or scones. Cookies.
Wait, I think it's crumpets.
Oh.
Strumpets are prostitutes, I believe.
Oh.
Don't ask me how I know. I just know a few things and I drink.
Nah, we like our whores in America. We don't like strumpets.
Whores.
Whores.
Dude, so did you watch it in theaters?
Yeah, I made my dad take me with I think he took me with a chick he was seeing at the time or something, and her kids that I was like whatever about. But I was super stoked to see the movies because I'd been reading the books since I was like, I think I started reading them in 3rd or 4th grade.
Okay.
And I was fucking in love with them. Like that was my favorite series and shit to read. So when the movie came out, I was all stoked until I actually watched it, and then I was like, "What the fuck is this? It's not the same."
So even as a kid, you didn't like the first movie.
Even as a preteen, I was just there like, "This is some bullshit." They, to their credit, and I will say this: just getting older, like I've harshed out on them less and less. Like I still, if I have a choice between them and the books, I'm gonna read the books. I'll fucking take that 4-day journey and read everything.
I mean, to their credit, they did add a lot of the core elements to the story.
Yeah, they kept it,
and it was already like over 2.5 hours.
To their credit, let's give them all the credit where credit is due. They kept the story intact. They kept the plot intact. They kept all the major elements of the book or the story. Was unchanged. It was just minor things here or there that my purist preteen self couldn't fucking live with,
Yeah. Although they did cut out that one ghost. What was the name?
Oh, they cut out all the ghosts and the poltergeist.
There was one ghost, I think it was a poltergeist.
Oh well, no, they didn't cut out Nearly Headless Nick.
No, he was there.
They cut out the Bloody Baron. That was the only other ghost they ever really talked about. And then there was the poltergeist, Peeves.
That's who
Peeves was a real motherfucker, man. He was the fucking school cunt, for lack of a better word. I
think that works.
It's pretty soft core as far as a poltergeist goes. Also, when I first read the books, I didn't know what the fuck he was because I was like 7. I was like, what the fuck is a poltergeist? I don't know. Just go past it. It seems like a dick,
dude. So this was directed. Actually, the first 2 movies were directed by Chris Columbus, not the Spanish Explorer. I know I made that joke a million times. It's still funny to me. But he also directed fucking Home Alone.
Oh,
the
nice.
first 2 Home Alones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe he wrote Gremlins.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
he
was going to sort of set the stage, like set the tone for the other
those American classics, and he goes and makes that limey ass movie. Shame on him.
And then so apparently before this movie went into production, Warner Brothers wanted to make these into like a CGI sort of Pixar looking movie where they crammed all the stories pretty much into one movie. And JK was like, no,
you're fucking
don't
stupid.
fucking do that. We're going to do this into live action movies because the studio didn't want the actors to age or get recast because it's a big, long movie commitment.
I get that. I really do. But I would have been the same as JK. I would have been like, look, you're fucking up something that's guaranteed money. All right, I was a housewife before these books. Now look at me. I bathe in gold. I know Bill Gates. I run this shit.
Yeah, so what they did then to sort of, I guess, compromise is pretty much shoot all the movies back to back, which as a kid can seem like really grueling because you're not having your childhood, you're doing your homework and in between takes and shit like that. So it was a lot of pressure, I believe, to sort of like have them not like over like age too fast, all that shit like that. So
age out of the roles.
And that's about 10 years of filming.
Yeah, no. So
that's about a third of their life. Just
so when did 2001 was Harry Potter 1?
Yeah.
Did they come out one a year? Yeah, one a year every year.
Yeah.
Did they?
Well, hang on. There was a little break.
There was like because I thought they came out like once every other year, once every like year and a half maybe.
No, it was pretty much every year, but there was a break because one came out in like 2011, which was the last one.
That was Deathly Hallows too.
There might have been like a year or two break. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's still pretty much back to back, and
it is. It is. It takes as long as it takes for a movie to be acted out, then edited and produced and everything. Like it's some time that they fucking spent doing this each fucking year, I imagine. But it boosted Harry and fucking Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson. They're the only two survivors.
Yeah,
out of there. I mean, well, except for like the older cast, like what was it? Filch was in Game of Thrones. He was
Walder Frey.
Yeah, Walder Frey. Yeah. You had Alan Rickman. It's Alan Rickman. All right. He didn't need Harry Potter to make him. He made Harry Potter.
Apparently, he was hand selected to play Snape by J.K.
Oh, yeah. He was absolutely perfect.
And she gave him some like crucial backstory points that weren't even out until like the final novel. So he already kind of knew where his character was going from the beginning.
Development. That's
pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it is the R.I.P. He was
Hans Gruber.
Rickman. Hans Gruber.
Dogma.
The voice of God, the metronome.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, he wasn't. So I just watched Sweeney Todd with my girl. I was showing it to her. She never seen The Butcher of Fleet Street.
I just saw it recently too with Laura. It's one of her favorite movies. So I was like, okay, cool. Tim Burton, horror musical.
Tim Burton,
Why
Johnny
not?
Depp, and what's her name? The same two characters he gets for most of his movies.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we touched on this before, but like Tim Burton might have been like sort of a cuck. Because he's always wanting Johnny Depp to be making out with his wife all the time.
Is that his wife, that chick?
Well, I don't know about anymore. They were for a long time.
Yeah, Bellatrix.
Yeah.
Bellatrix. Yeah, that was Bellatrix. What's her name? Killer of Sirius. Kind of. I mean,
no, she did, and she was happy about it.
In the book,
I killed Sirius Black.
The book, they didn't say what kind of spell hit him, and then he just sort of stumbled through that dais archway thing, and then he was gone, and it was just the most confusing part of it to me. It was just like you had like weird fucking kids like Luna being like, "You heard them, didn't you, Ari? They're just on the other side." It's like, and then they just never touched on it again. Like, what's on the other side? What the fuck is that thing?
I know, dude. It reminds you like in Beetlejuice. You remember where like they're crossing after they're in that hallway with that like ghost janitor, and he shows them like the ghost kind of floating there behind the window. Do you remember that part? Yeah. So I wonder if like he's right there with those ghosts.
Yeah, I guess.
Waiting to be exercised. Probably not. But in the movie, but when he gets killed, you hear the Avada Kedavra spell.
Yeah, you do hear you see him. Yeah, you hear the Avada Kedavra, and he falls off of it. He's like on top of it there.
Yeah, so he dies and just sort of fucks off into oblivion somewhere.
Yeah, so that makes fucking more sense, that the death was final. And again, like reading this shit as a fucking teenager or whatever. When did Order of the Phoenix came out?
Probably 05, 06.
Yeah, it was in middle school because Goblet of Fire came out in 2000.
2000.
2004. No, I'm talking about book-wise.
I don't fucking know.
Book-wise, yeah, 2000 because I remember because I graduated 5th grade, or I passed 5th grade, and I got that book as like my fucking present. Which was what I fucking wanted. I spent the first
what a total geek.
I was. I spent the first 2 days of summer break doing nothing but reading that shit, and it's the best one. I mean, it was
trying to speak partial tongue, man.
It was such a good book.
I remember when they because I was never really into Harry Potter up until like just a couple years ago when Laura showed it to me, but. Yeah. For a long time, I was happy. I was taking pride in the fact that like I didn't like Harry Potter, And when the movies came out, I was like, oh my God, like these movies just won't fucking end because I didn't know.
Yeah, the 7.
It was just every year.
And then
like,
you gotta make the last one into a part 2 because
Cash
money.
grab.
Yeah, money.
And it worked, man.
It did,
dude. They got a shit ton of money, but yeah.
Even though they split up, it was the worst book to split up. I mean, I understand it was the last one, but the first half of that book is pretty fucking boring because all they're doing is going through forests and shit for like 200 pages of nothing, just nothing happening. Ron leaves and comes back. They find a fucking Horcrux. Everybody's pissed off. And then the movie just fucking ends. And then shit pops off into that's where all the dope shit happens.
Yeah. And in the last podcast, we sort of kept it up until like the second half of the books until Deathly Hallows. But now with this one, we can pretty much talk about all of them now.
Yeah.
So for this movie, what was one of your favorite scenes or moments, I guess?
Let's see. The Sorcerer Stone. Hey, what was... I mean, I said it earlier. Your boy Ron came through and did the only work he had to do for 6 straight years.
He peaked in the first movie.
Well, he did what he had to do. He established that he could do shit, and then he was like, "All right, I'm out. Harry, take the lead."
Yeah, that was actually a really cool scene, and I feel like I don't know. I think they could have did it without him if he died in that movie.
Yeah,
did they?
No, because they were all apparently like Hermione, as smart as she was, sucks at fucking chess or wizard's chess.
No, but like if he died there in the subsequent movies, did he really do anything else like that significant?
I'm pretty sure it would have changed some things.
Because Hermione killed one of the Horcruxes in the Battle of Hogwarts, but I don't
Ron
know.
killed one. Yeah,
he
killed the one that was trying to drown Harry. Remember, it fucking pulled him out under the water, and then Ron showed up with the sword.
All right.
What's his name? Guilford Godry or Guilford Gryffindor?
Godric Gryffindor.
Yeah, Godric Gryffindor.
Wait, no, that was Neville with the sword.
No, Ron had the sword. It was part 1, bro. Remember? And they fucking get it. And then they trade it to that goblin that fucks him over in Gringotts. Fucking grip hooks, bitch ass.
That dude's grimy as shit, man.
Well, he's a goblin. I mean, goblins are gonna goblin, you know?
Gobble. Wait, isn't Nilbog goblin spelled backwards?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
For a movie about trolls.
Dude, so I think aside from that, because that was one of my favorite moments too, in the scene where Harry gets his letter from Hogwarts, or when all the letters come in at once,
start pouring in,
and instead of grabbing one off the ground, he's trying to grab one in the sky, which is a dumb Harry Potter moment.
I would just pick one up off the ground, or I'd run through the hallway, grab one real quick, and then run to my
he's like, no, I want that one. I want that one. That's why he died in Ravenclaw, dude.
He's just a dumb 10-year-old.
But aside from that,
I would have saw that shit because they were watching all of it. They knew where he lived, so. If I was like that, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Potter. You were coming to the school. You had been invited, but you just are too stupid to get a letter. So.
Do you think Dumbledore and crew we're all watching him, like trying to grab that one? They're like, oh my fucking God, are you sure this is the kid who's going to fucking kill, Voldemort?
Oh, Harry's fucking Dumbledore's little teacher pet ass. So of course he was watching him.
But apparently that scene, what makes it really cool is that all those letters were not CGI, but in fact, actual letters being blown into the set, from the fireplace. So it was a practical effect, and I think in a technical aspect, I have a little appreciation for that. I thought that was really cool. So that's impressive.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I hate to be the fucking grips that clean that up or what have you. The PA that they get to do it.
Lord knows how many takes that took.
Oh, for real. Just to fucking re-get all the letters.
Sweeping that shit up, dude. I was gonna mention something else too. So I like how you see it. I think he mentions it in in Chamber Secrets, where Tom Riddle is confronting Harry about who he is, and like, yo, Voldemort.
Yeah,
it's funny because like Voldemort was like, I wanted to bring purebloods and all this stuff, but up until a few months ago, I've been obsessed with you because I could not understand how can I be bested by a fucking baby, and that was Voldemort's motivation.
Half-blood baby, because they're both half-bloods. Voldemort's a half-blood. Fucking Tom Riddle, his father senior, was a muggle, a little muggle.
But he was obsessing because he got beat up by a baby. A baby survived, so he was obsessing over a teen.
Also, when you finally find out that like what saved his life was love, it's kind of a fuck you, just a little bit. It was like, really? So you mean to tell me
the power of love?
You mean to tell me all the people this motherfucker's killed, no one's ever sacrificed themselves?
No one's ever loved somebody?
No one's ever loved anybody, jumped in the way? Everybody's just been like, oh shit, my son baby, fuck them kids. We can have others.
And I think to me that's what makes Voldemort a weak villain.
Yeah.
Just because he was like, I'm gonna fuck that baby up and I'll show him that I'm the greatest wizard.
I got beat by love.
Like in fucking Interstellar, we're like, after everything it was love.
Love, yeah. They fucking brought them back.
I hate that. But anyways,
that's such a fucking cop out. Like make it something cool. Give them like laser nips or something. And
it was all super scientific-y and like a super accurate portrayal of a black hole. And it's like, after all that, it was love.
Yeah, it was fucking love. Yeah.
All right. So what's your least favorite Harry Potter movie? But aside from all of them, which one do you hate the most?
Which one do I hate the most? I don't know, man. They did do Goblet of Fire pretty wrong. There was just so much that was left out. I mean, I get it. They're long ass movies. They gotta leave some shit out. But I mean, there were elements in it that could have just made them better. Like that was the first year that Hagrid was No, it was Prisoner of Azkaban. That was the second year that Hagrid was a Magical Classes teacher, and he fucking breeded these monsters, because you know how Hagrid is. He doesn't fucking know better, but either
I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, they're called Scroots, right? And they described him as like fucking. They started off looking like these little gray lobsters mixed with scorpions that some of them had stingers, and some of them had stingers that fucking blew off and shot out at you and shit, and propelled them. And then they started out with crates of them, and then they cannibalized each other. And then they got bigger till they were the size of they were like 16 feet. And they threw those in the fucking maze with them at the end. They're like, yeah, fight off Hagrid, Scroots.
Goddamn. Dude, Hagrid was one of my favorite characters. He was often drunk, but then at the same time, he was also kind of hanging around a lot of kids. So I guess he was a little questionable on that part. You know,
well, he was the gamekeeper at first, which I'm still a little fuzzy about what that is at a school. Like, I guess he tended to the horses or the fucking thestrals, or it wasn't really ever explained. He just seemed to do odd jobs for fucking Dumbledore, and everybody knew this crazed drunk giant, half giant, lives out on a hut on the school.
Yeah, on school grounds.
Just getting drunk next to the Forbidden Forest and breeding shit and buying dragons and having dogs and on the school, though, is the part that gets me. This fucking single middle-aged fucking half-giant wizard is fucking kind of simple.
Just chilling there.
Just chilling on the school. Like, and I know this was the 90s. That's when it's supposed to take place, the 90s. But I'm pretty sure you can't just, we didn't have people just living on the schools, chilling like, hey, kids, come on over to my house, my hut, unsupervised.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine. It's nothing Hagrid. Weird. It's one of those like things like the more you try to explain how okay it is, the creepier it comes off. It's okay. You guys can just hang on my couch. It's not gonna be weird. I'll give you soda.
It's not something that you look at as like, when you're a kid, but you get older and you're like,
I wouldn't let my kid fucking hang out.
Right? Just like, you hung out with what? In where? With no other adults? Oh, no. There's gonna be somebody's getting a howler for this.
Get fucking Chris Hansen in there. Oh man! All right, so who do you think was perfectly cast throughout all the movies, not just Sorcerer's Stone?
All the Dumbledores,
aside from Snape.
I'm just joking. Well, Alan Rickman was the best. What's his name? That played Filch. Argus Filch, Walter Frey, he was a good cast.
I liked him. He hated everybody. He was super antisocial.
Isn't that his role in most things? Like he's like just like a crotchety old dude.
It's just that in this one he was funnier than when he was in like fucking Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
If Walter Frey had some cats, then they'd be interchangeable.
Mrs.
Norris.
Who else? I thought David Tennant for Bartimaeus Crouch Jr. was pretty good. Yeah, I didn't understand that. There was no mention of shit like that in the books at all. There was that nervous tick that he had, that fucking facial tick. There was none of that. So it just came off as, it's kind of weird. Like, how do you even develop something like that? Just licking. It was like, why you lick your lips like that, dog? Dang.
Some chapstick, maybe?
For real. Wizards don't have chapstick, apparently.
Lips Reparo. I thought Umbridge was one of the greatest villains throughout the whole thing, because she was a total insane, like sadistic bitch pretending to be a nice person.
Yeah, she's a real cut.
So she was great. And then when she gets banged by the centaurs, that was quite the fate. But I also liked was a fucking Goblet of Fire when Cedric, when he dies and then his dad comes out, he's like, that's my boy.
That's my boy.
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of strings the chords a little bit with me.
The bat. Well, yeah, you have a son, dude. You can imagine.
Yeah.
God forbid. If,
but it's just the way it came out, and just how he delivered that performance. I thought that was really cool and like a little like heart tugging a little bit.
Well, it was supposed to it was a really fucked up traumatic moment for Harry. You think you won, transported to another place, then fucking just come out, kill the spare, bah. And honestly, then he's just fucking dead.
And that's like where Harry's innocence dies because he sees someone get killed.
That's why the Goblet of Fire is the best one. I mean, just from start to end. Real. Yeah, it was before it was this. Oh, Voldemort's there, but he's just the ghost baby on the back of this dude's head,
and just shaking his fist. I'll get you next time, Harry.
Just fuck that ghost baby up and get out of there.
And now someone dies, and like, okay, fuck, we got to take this seriously now.
Yeah. Then they were like, they killed the bat. They killed the bat.
The WB logo gets darker and darker now. Yeah, all the news come out.
They killed the bat, and that was the catalyst for Harry's life.
Do you know, this is a random fact about Hogwarts, but I don't know if you know, like when they have their house animal symbols, there's a little phrase in Latin that says like Draco Dormian Nunquam. Wow. It's a little Latin phrase. Yeah. Apparently, it means don't tickle a dragon.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's funny and random, but like, I see words in Latin like, oh shit, that's cool. Like it probably has some sort of deep meaning. No, but it's like, no,
it's just Latin. It's just Latin. It's just the language that we don't fucking use anymore. But hey.
So now when you guys see that, don't tickle a dragon. You have no idea what'll happen.
You probably fucking die. It's a dragon.
Yeah,
they're pretty vicious in Harry Potter.
Yeah, there was actually a lot of dragons throughout Harry Potter. And they looked pretty good, too.
Norbert in the first one, the Black Welsh.
Which is the one that chases him throughout Hogwarts? I forget which movie that was.
From Goblet of Fire?
I think it was Goblet, yeah.
Goblet of Fire was the Hungarian horntail.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, the Hungarian horntail. That was the most vicious of the dragons that they brought for that.
And one of the Weasley brothers, who...
Charlie, yeah.
We didn't see him, did we?
No, you never see Charlie in the movie. You see Bill towards the end.
Yeah.
And then you see Percy in the beginning, and he's just like phased out after the first movie, I think.
And then like apparently he was so like ashamed of his family, and he became like I don't know if he didn't become an Orr, but he was on like the council.
You're talking about in the books, right?
In the movie.
In the movie. Like I thought you're talking about like the actual character, the guy who played the character, but the character.
Yeah.
Percy doesn't become ashamed of his family. He's just a little sellout, pussy punk bitch, you know? It's what he is. It's what he's a tattletale. He's got it in his veins, so he puts authority like up on this pedestal. And when after the events of the Goblet of Fire, when Harry and Dumbledore were telling everybody, it's like, yeah, he's fucking back. Y'all need to start preparing. And everybody else was like, or they were trying to make them both to be all crazy. Fucking Cornelius Fudge, the prime minister, was like, or the Minister of Magic was like, y'all are wild. And then they hired Percy during, he got his job during the Goblet of Fire. He was actually working for Bartimaeus Crouch Sr. And then, it goes into a little bit more depth in the book. So at one point, he stops coming into work, and he's just sending owls with what he needs done. And Percy's getting the reports, and he's like sort of in charge because his boss is, even though he's just the assistant. So he doesn't really like look into it. And then it comes out to find out that Bartimaeus Crouch killed his father, or Junior killed his father, turned him into a bone and buried him in the Forbidden Forest and shit.
Turned him into a bone?
Yeah, he transfigured that dude into a bone. He just buried him in the fucking Forbidden
Forest. What a boner.
And so Percy got a little drawback from that. But then after that, when everybody's saying that, Voldemort's back, Fudge sort of took him under. It was definitely a manipulation, It was fucking like, your family's bullshit. Your family's full of shit. You can either go down with them or you can be on the right side. And Percy's like, ooh, authority, shiny shit. So yeah, he fucking dissed the whole fam. Didn't come around for years, like till the Deathly Hallows. So for like 3 books, Percy was a bitch, straight up.
No. I like how you put him better. Percy the punk pussy bitch.
Pussy punk bitch. Yeah, Percy was a pussy punk bitch.
Oh man, there's a lot of P's there.
He was definitely the worst of the Weasleys.
I would have liked to see Charlie, to have them all like in a Wheezy moment, like when fucking Fred dies, and like it would have been more impactful to sort of like have them all there.
Yeah, and I get why they don't go over it, because it doesn't really add too much to the story by having like all of their full family there. But it was we got Bill for like a second, like a movie and a half, like just a little bit, and then no Charlie, and Percy was there in the beginning, and then he was gone, and then it was just Fred, George, and Ron, and Ginny. Yeah.
Ginny, trash. It was because of her the basilisk did all this shit in the second one.
Yeah, but also kind of because of her, Ron was able to destroy a fucking Horcrux. The locket he was able to destroy, Voldemort's locket, or who is it? It wasn't Raven, it was Hufflepuff's locket.
No, did Hufflepuff have the goblet? It was Ravenclaw.
No, Ravenclaw was the diadem. Ravenclaw was the diadem. Slytherin, it might have been a Slytherin locket, because it did have I think it had a snake on it. So it was a locket and a ring that he found for Salazar Slytherin.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I think Dumbledore, he was sort of perceived to be this like super nice, ultra, cool, like wizard, not ultra cool, but like a super nice guy, like, a father figure for Harry. But in reality, he kind of fucked up Harry. Like he let him stay with the Dursleys, get mentally and like physically abused and shit. He allowed him to get killed.
There was a reason why Harry did have to stay with the Dursleys. They do talk over in the book. So the spell that allowed him to keep having protection from Voldemort, and to fucking stay hidden, for them not to be able to find him, only worked because he lived with someone that had his mother's blood, his fucking aunt.
Oh, is that the reason?
Yeah, that's the only reason. So that's the only reason he stayed there.
Okay.
Because when what book was it where they were about to kick him out? They were about to kick Harry out because he did something.
Feels like every movie.
It legitimately is, but they really were about to kick him out. Oh, it was during Order of the Phoenix. So after Dudley got attacked by
the Dementors.
The Dementors, he gets him home, and Vernon's like, he's going off, and he thinks Harry's done something. So he's like, get out, and then they fucking get the letter saying that he's been expelled. And he's like, see, I knew it. Get the fuck out. And then they get another letter, and it's from Dumbledore, and it just shouts like, Petunia, remember my last. And then Petunia, like his aunt actually sticks up. She's like, he can't go. He can't. He has to stay here. Just send him to his room and like fucking fuck off.
So they didn't mention in the movie then about how the spell protection and they didn't mention in the movie.
They didn't mention that. No, they didn't mention in the movie.
Okay.
Because but that's why he was left there, and also because he wanted him to grow up normal and without a big head.
Normal,
but
humble, maybe?
humble as fuck from that family. Because he was like, he could have given it to any wizarding family, but they would have spoiled him. He's famous before he could walk or talk. He's famous for something he'll never remember and won't even know.
Oh, okay. So like he's not such an entitled douchebag.
Yeah, like he would have ended up like Draco or some shit.
I love that part where Draco's like, oh, so and so, I can help you meet the right people, and Harry's like, nah,
son.
And Draco's like,
my frosted tips.
He never forgot about that. That's why like he hated him, because he got rejected by his hero. And it goes to that term like, never meet your idols. Yep. So
and then it was a lot of fucked up shit though. Like he even says, because he sits down and talks to Harry and tells him after. Sorry,
you want to finish that Ice Cube?
Yeah, sorry, I ate an Ice Cube. After the Order of the Phoenix, so when they didn't hear the prophecy during, but Dumbledore knew it because he was the one the prophecy was told to. So he told him, he was like, I should have told you this a long time ago, but when you first arrived, you were just such a small kid, and I didn't want to put that pressure on you. You were just a 10-year-old, a boy, and you were just learning about the wizarding world, but you fought Voldemort, and you fucking won. And he was like, I should have told you then, but my heart wouldn't allow it. He's like, second year, you saved Ginny. You fucking got the sword. Here's another prime opportunity. He was like, but I just couldn't. You're still 11. It's hardly older than 10. How the fuck could I do it? And then he's like, and then you're fucking at the prisoner Azkaban. You saved Sirius. Fucking proved he was innocent, even though he fucking Peter Pettigrew got away. You saved your life. here's another prime time that I could tell you, but 13, like, what the fuck? You're just starting to enjoy life. You just got a sense of a real family. And then he's like, Goblet of Fire, when he came back, oh, you experienced such horrible things. He's like, I couldn't add to that shit. Like, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And then he's like, so now the time has finally come where you must learn, like, the prophecy. And it's like, you can't live. Neither one can live while the other dies. And Dumbledore, he cried at this shit. He was like, I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry that I couldn't fucking tell you this or prepare you for it earlier, because he saw Harry as this kid. And we like Dumbledore was like the grandfather for Harry. More in the books, in the movies, he was like just some dude who showed up and kind of everybody was like, hey, Dumbledore. And he was like, I got y'all. Dark Wizard ain't coming here.
Jump with your name in the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, that was so different. Because, all right, so he's the one who set up the Goblet of Fire. It's Dumbledore. And in the book, he's way more sure of his magic than anything else. So in the movie, he comes at Harry. He's like, did you put your name in there, Harry? But in the book, he's like, nah, no bitch ass fucking 14-year-old is getting past my magic.
Yeah, dude, he was fucking going ape shit, and like a part of that was because the actor, the recast Dumbledore, he didn't want to read the book.
Yeah, he didn't know
so he's
the
like,
character.
I will do it my way. I'm gonna go in there, fucking kick the door, and yell at this fucking teenager.
Did you put your name in, Harry? Did you undercut my magic?
You bitch. So even though they took a lot out of these movies, and I probably mentioned this in the last Harry Potter podcast we did. You can check that out, by the way. Do you think that this would have worked better as a Netflix series? Or a series? Because there's just so much story. They can only do so much. These movies are already pushing about 3 hours.
Well, I think any book to movie would do much better as a series instead. And that's where we're starting to see more of in terms of adaptions, at least with things like Netflix or HBO or even, Amazon. Like everybody's picking up these stories to adapt because that's what's popular right now. Nobody's really coming up with shit that already hasn't been done. So
yeah,
you take
people
a book
just want to binge and not just watch.
You make a show and that allows you to tell the proper story. I mean, you're not going to be able to keep everything, but you're going to be able to keep much more than you would in a movie where you have to.
And you give them more time to flesh out. And a good example of, and not just like a book being adapted to a series, but even a movie. Yeah. If you put it into a series, it fleshes out even
more, yeah.
And a good example is Chucky. Chucky, the show right now, is actually doing, I think it's really good. And it gives it more time to sort of digest more of the story and like, shed some light on some background and stuff. So, and like I said, people just want to binge, they don't want like just a movie and then, fuck off, but like, so I think that being a series now in a popular streaming service, at least anyway, is probably what more people or what most of the people want. And I think it works better.
I'm stoked about some of the ones that are coming out because, I can definitely say that I feel, at least for us and the time we grew up, they weren't really making books in the movie. Well, they were making books in the movies. Like you had Dune in the fucking 80s. You had
Jaws is actually based on a book. Shining,
Jurassic Park. You have all these books, but I think the teen and young adult section was defined by Harry Potter because then after that they started taking more chances with things. You had Aragon. You had I Am Number 4.
Twilight.
The Insurgent series, fucking Catching Fire. What was it? Hunger Games. Yeah, like all these fucking young adult books came out. And that was due to just the wild popularity of Harry Potter,
Yeah, and I think a lot of that can be accredited to Harry Potter for kind of starting that young adult boom.
Yeah, it was definitely, and it's still going on. But now, which I like better, it seems like studios are starting to move away from movies. Kind of, slowly we're getting more shows. Like Disney Plus has picked up the Percy Jackson line, which I cannot fucking wait for that because those movies sucked. But
how many movies were there? 2?
There were 2 movies, yeah. Okay. But there are 10 books.
10? God damn.
Well, there's the first series is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. That's 5 books.
The Lightning Thief, which is
the Lightning Thief is the first one.
Oh, okay.
That's the first of the 5, and then after that, it's called the Heroes of Olympus, where it's they bring Percy Jackson back, but there are also new people that are introduced, and it's not just about him. It's
Oh,
about
okay.
like
So
all
it-
these
it becomes like-
these characters coming together to fulfill one
like
prophecy.
an ensemble kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up with that because I don't know what else we can talk about Harry Potter unless you want to like spend a couple minutes on bashing the movies.
They were terrible. I mean, and I'll say like I'm probably one of the worst people to watch it with because I know I definitely.
Oh my god!
Like,
that didn't happen in the book.
Yeah, I'm like inaccurate. That's inaccurate. That didn't happen. They're fucking making this it's some bullshit, and that's every fucking 5 seconds because I'm just
A purist.
it's not
An
elitist.
elitist.
The books are just better.
Yeah,
They are
that's true
fucking
most of the time.
better. They are, but I've gotten some clarity. I've seen some other shit like they just don't even. They might as well be different mediums. You can't even call them the same as the books. Whereas Harry Potter, you could say these are Harry Potter movies, but then you have things like Ready Player One. Ready Player One might as well have been a completely different fucking movie. Even the elements that they did keep were fucking different, and then everything else about from A to Z was different, with the end result being the same, but the journey was completely different. And the same thing with the Maze Trial or the Maze Runner movies. I just finished the books for those, and they are so different. I wouldn't even call them the same thing. Because the characters are fucking completely, absolutely different. The things they go through are different, and it's just like you just kept the names of the characters and changed the whole movie.
The light. Well, yeah. Going back to what you're saying about movies being in a different medium than books, which they are, and it sucks because movies, if they're even greenlit, they're only given like 90 minutes to maybe 2 hours to flesh out the story in a small condensed time, and a lot of them they don't do so well. They only do one movie or 2 movies because people didn't like it and all that stuff. So it's kind of like it's more of an uphill battle for movies to be adapted from books. So yeah. I mean it works, but then lately I don't know, it's hard for them. So I think that's why put them in series would work better. Like the Assassin's Creed movie, I love Assassin's Creed, and I love Michael Fassbender. He was a great choice, but the movie was just so goddamn boring, and they spent so much time talking about the fucking Animus, So I mean, if they just kept it in the time period as the movie, that'd have been great. But I am glad that Netflix took my tweet idea, because I actually tweeted to Netflix that, hey, make this into a series, and they totally listened to me. And then sometime later, they announced that they were going to do it. So. That's good because we can see more because it's such a big ass story.
It really is.
And so with series, they give it more time to flesh it out. So
remember that other shitty video game movie, The Prince of Persia, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal,
the White Prince of Persia,
brown facing a bit. It was a fun movie, but it didn't feel.
It was a fun video game.
It was a really fun video game.
I wish they would actually remake those
or remaster
at least
if they haven't already.
Yeah.
Speaking of remastering, it's super off topic, but are you gonna get the Grand Theft Auto trilogy remastered?
Probably, because Vice City, San Andreas, and 3, bro. Oh man,
yeah,
that's too good of a bundle, especially with modernized graphics. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna get that. But back to Harry Potter. Wow. So, what do you think the big impact that Harry Potter has left on people and even in movies?
It's had a large impact on, at least on people, like in the 90s and early thousands. I don't know if you remember, but fucking women and churchgoers used to, like mothers, let me not say women, but mothers and churchgoers used to fucking cause hell, be like, oh, these books and movies teach kids to worship the devil.
She's a witch!
Satan provides witches and all this, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Why are so many people get their fucking just underwear in a bunch? But I do think it brought a lot of like people into that type of book setting or that mind setting, because I didn't really know anybody who was fucking into wizards and shit when I was growing up besides myself. But then Harry Potter comes along, and all of a sudden it's cool. Everybody's going expecto patronum, leviosa. So it definitely it gave a whole generation. It made a whole generation of kids into little fucking LARPing nerds.
Yeah. Now it's like like an even higher popularity. Like a big resurgence some years ago, and now that Fantastic Beasts is out or whatever. It's still going strong in the pop culture zeitgeist.
Yeah, really, it fucking is. I mean, she's continued the story, and we got a solid prequel. We're getting some great movies out of it.
Yeah, dude. And when before she was writing Harry Potter, she was in a super physically abusive relationship and all this stuff. She was just at a very low point, and now she's a fucking gazillionaire, dude.
She's kind of canceled though at the moment, but
we're not gonna touch upon that. That's not our place. But we can't deny the massive success that she got from coming from a pretty fucked up background.
Yeah, she wrote didn't she start writing the first book on a napkin in a coffee shop? And now she's fucking
now she probably owns 50 coffee shops.
Right? She probably bought that coffee shop and bulldozed it down and turned it into a Harry Potter coffee shop.
Dude. Well, I guess with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up here. So let's take a quick cheers for the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
20
years, man. All right, well, if you're watching us on YouTube, please be sure to like this video, and you can find us on all available podcast platforms, including Stitcher and some other stuff. I don't know, but if there's a podcasting, we're there. So, once again, I am Detective Artemis.
And I am the Infraggable K.
And remember, we drink and we watch things.